Alright, welcome back to the Lua introduction, and in this lecture we're going to talk about the output and some comments. Now, first things first, I want to add a quick little addendum. Of course, each script I'm going to be writing here in these lectures is going to be available as a resource for you to download, and the entire project is also available as a resource to download, so you don't necessarily have to program with me. I still encourage it though. It makes sense because then you get a sense of how to, what to do in order to actually facilitate some end goal. I would advise it, but it's not necessary. So you can download everything I'm going to be doing here. Right, so in this lecture, we actually need a new script right now. So we're not going to be writing in this script. We're going to create one script for each lecture. And of course, once again, we actually go to the server script service, to the little plus, and then we're going to click script. I'm going to rename this immediately to output and comments. So output comments. And we're going to quickly talk about the output. So it actually already provided us the output here. This simply is a way of outputting either variables or, as you can see here, just a string, right? So we've already seen this. When we run this, it just prints out hello world. But what we can also do, if we, for example, define a variable up here, so how about something like health, we're just going to call this health 1000, then what we can also do is we can also output just this variable. So what's written inside of health right now is 1000. So if we print out health, what's going to be printed out is 1000 and not, health as in the string health, right? If we want the string health to be outputted, then we actually need to make it a string by surrounding it with the quotation marks. But in this case, we don't want that. We can also have something written before that and after it. So this is a sort of more advanced comment or a more advanced output would be if we have a string. So for example, our health is, and then we could have this, and then we just make a comma and then the variable that we want to output. And we can chain this together as how much we want, right? So we can have another variable, we can have another string and another variable, and so on and so forth. So for example, we could do something like this, right? Our health is then, and then it's gonna display the health variable. So that's 1000, and then HP after it. So let's run this. And it's gonna be our health is 1000 HP. Great. So this is basic output. This can be needed for, well, if you have some services going on, and maybe you want to output, hey, we're at this point in the service and we've initialized this. And it can also be used for debugging purposes, although there are other tools for that. It can be useful to just quickly print out a few things, print out what your variables are. Maybe they're going to be something different than you expect. And that's always useful to have the print in there. And comments, well, you've probably already seen the comment in the last lecture, but we're going to talk about it once again. So if you do two of these dashes, then it creates a comment. So I always put in the lecture topic at the top. So this would be output and comments. And I like to personally put two dashes behind here. This is not necessary, actually. So we can also skip those. I personally just think that this looks better, but this is a absolute personal choice and is not necessary at all. So in this way, we can create one single line comment. We can also create multi-line comments, and we do this by creating first a normal comment with the dashes, and then we actually do two brackets, and then inside of those brackets we can actually write in anything we want, and then we close it with two other brackets, and now we have a multi-line comment. So we can also write multi-line comment. Nice, right? So for example, this works very similar to the strings that are also multi-line, or the strings that are a little bit longer that we've seen in the last lecture. Right, this is basically all to know about the output and the comments. Just a short little lecture to get you up on speed on that. Once again, if there are any questions, feel free to ask and I'll be sure to respond. And yeah,